Welcome back, truth seekers. Today we delve into the recent London summit where European leaders convened under the guise of unity and peace. But what if there's more lurking beneath the surface? Let's unravel the web of secrets they don't want you to see. On March 1st, 2025, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer hosted a high-profile summit in London, bringing together key European figures to discuss the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Official reports highlighted efforts to draft a peace plan and strengthen European defense capabilities.
Europe getting into lockstep, trying to put diplomacy back into line after a major mishap between the president of a superpower and a president at war. This leader wants to be the bridge between Europe and America, trying to keep old alliances like NATO intact. All here for this man, whose country they are trying to save, not just for the sake of Ukraine, but for the security of the rest of Europe too.
But behind these closed doors, could there be ulterior motives at play? Some speculate that this summit wasn't just about supporting Ukraine, but about reshaping the balance of power in Europe. Consider this: Prime Minister Starmer announced a new aid package for Ukraine, directly opposing President Trump's recent calls for a swift end to the conflict. Is this a noble stand for democracy, or is there a deeper strategy to undermine U.S. influence in Europe?
Divisions between Ukraine and the US only serve Vladimir Putin. President Zelensky is right to try and rebuild his relationship with President Trump. He is keeping a cool head under very difficult circumstances. And I was glad to see President Trump receive his letter positively. What is the Prime Minister doing to help rebuild their relationship after a challenging week?
Well, she's absolutely right. We need to do everything we can to ensure that US, Europe and Ukraine are working together on lasting peace. And I'm doing everything I can to play my part in that, in regular contact with all of the key players at the moment, including talking to President Zelensky yesterday afternoon. And the whole point of ensuring that there's a lasting peace and that any deal, if there's a deal, is defended, is to avoid conflict, to ensure that we do have peace. On Thursday of last week, we did discuss security guarantees. The President made absolutely clear his commitment to Article 5 of NATO, absolutely clear that he would have our backs because of the relationship between our parties, and agreed that our teams would sit down together to talk through security guarantees. I've spoken to him I think 3 times since then on the telephone, because it is vitally important that we work with the US, with Europe and Ukraine and make sure that if there is a deal, it has proper security guarantees in place.
Furthermore, discussions about Europe developing its own defense capabilities independent of the US have surfaced. Could this be the first step towards a European superstate consolidating power away from traditional alliances?
European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says Europe is ready to massively boost its defense spending and take responsibility for European security. She has proposed a 5-part plan to mobilize some 800 billion euros for defense and pledged immediate military support for Ukraine after the US paused aid to the country. Here's what she's been saying.
Europe is ready to assume its responsibilities. Rearm Europe could mobilize close to 800 billion euros of defense expenditures for a safe and resilient Europe. We will, of course, continue working closely with our partners in NATO. This is a moment for Europe, and we are ready to step up.
And what about the key players? With President Zelensky attending the summit, some whisper about secret negotiations and undisclosed agreements. Is there a clandestine pact forming, one that could shift the geopolitical landscape?
Cheered by supporters on his way into number 10 for a choreographed show of support from the Prime Minister. Handshake after handshake from Keir Starmer, who is also trying to keep the US on side, and spoke to both President Zelensky and President Trump last night. Inside, the warm words you would expect between these two leaders, but ones which have taken on new meaning in the last 24 hours.
A lasting peace for Ukraine based on sovereignty and security for Ukraine. So important for Ukraine, so important for Europe, and so important for the United Kingdom.
We are happy, and we count on your support, and really, we're really happy that we have such partners and such friends.
Publicly, leaders emphasize unity and peace, but as citizens, we must question unity for whom? Peace at what cost? Are we witnessing the dawn of a new world order orchestrated by those in power? Stay vigilant, question everything, and remember, the truth is often hidden in plain sight. That's all for today's news. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an important update.
Україна! Україна! Україна!